And for more on arts and culture, but with a bit of a fine arts twist to it, we have our Iteo joining us live in the studio. And today he has a very special opera that's running for a very limited time here in Seoul to tell us all about. Good afternoon to you, Taeho.
Good afternoon.
So what is this production that you have for us today?
Well, first of all, it was a great experience for me, but not just because of the fantastic opera, but because of the combined efforts to produce this marvelous production. Let's take a look. Rigoletto is one of the 3 opera masterpieces by Italian composer Giuseppe Verdi, and it can now be enjoyed right here in Korea through Sunday at the Seoul Arts Center, located in southern Seoul. The production is being held as a part of other events around the world to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Verdi's birth. But aside from that, there's something special about this production that makes it different from others that have graced the Seoul Arts Center stage in recent memory. The production is being staged by Suji Opera Company from Korea in collaboration with a European director, cast members, and production personnel. This performance of Rigoletto was a combined effort of both Korean and international teams. So what were the results and how were the relationships? This was a marvelous production that would not have been possible without the teamwork of everyone involved. The results of their hard work and dedication were apparent throughout the performance. It was also clear that everyone involved had the utmost respect for one another. Georgian baritone George Gadnitz, who plays the title role, had high praise for his Korean castmates.
This is my first time in Korea, but I have worked with Koreans many times before during different performances around the world. I feel that Koreans have a passion for culture and for opera. There are many beautiful voices from Europe. However, I think that Koreans also have a beautiful voice, as evidenced by the number of Korean professionals in the industry.
The story of Rigoletto is divided into 3 acts, with Act 1 containing 2 scenes. In the first act, the audience is treated to a spectacle of color and pageantry in the setting of a ball, being held at the palace of the Duke. Here, the wild and ridiculing nature of the Duke of Mantova is masterfully expressed by the vocals of performer Stefan Popp. When the Count Montaron pleads to the Duke for the return of his daughter, he is met with only ridicule by the jester Rigoletto. The enraged Count Montaron calls down a curse on both the Duke and the now terrified jester. In the second scene of the first act, the audience is introduced to Rigoletto's beautiful daughter Gilda. But unbeknownst to her father, Gilda has fallen in love with a handsome young man, which just happens to be the sinister Duke of Mantova. And in a cruel twist of fate, the jester is fooled into assisting the Duke abduct his very own daughter. From here, the story of love, revenge, and tragedy is set into full motion. Acts 2 and 3 continue to show the emotions and, quite literally, the color of the characters through the magnificent costumes by designer Arrigo Basso Bondini. And as it happens, the director of Rigoletto told me that it was very important to pay attention to the wardrobe of the performers.
The Duke wears black, but it's a very sparkly and elegant black that represents the heart and soul of the character.
The whole production comes together with the beautiful music provided by the Gyeonggi Philharmonic Orchestra, led by the internationally acclaimed Verdi specialist, conductor Bruno Apria, another example of the perfect harmony between East and West. The classic Rigoletto, so masterfully put together by Verdi, will be premiering at the Seoul Arts Center tonight at 7:30 p.m. local time, but will only run until Sunday, the 24th of November.
Well, definitely it looks like a breathtaking production. I mean, just by watching it as a footage, I can feel it.
Well, it's absolutely breathtaking, like you said. And it's not just the vocal power of the performers, it's actually the emotions that you feel ringing throughout the opera house that was the most powerful for me.
Right. It was also very interesting for me to see opera singers of both European descent and Korean descent performing together, and their voices kind of making a really I suppose, unique harmony.
Well, actually, that was my favorite part, to see both the East and West meeting together here in Korea on stage to perform the arts. It was just a magnificent sight, and it actually worked out very well.
Right, and we could really see a different kind of, I suppose, energy coming out from that I suppose, that fusion, if you will, that mixture of different voices coming together.
Well, adding to the fact that not only is it here in Korea, but the language barrier that exists between the cast and the production team and the whole production of this program, it just makes it marvelous, because it really truly shows that the arts are a universal language and not just specific to any country or region.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing the wonderful production with us today and for all of this week, in fact. And we'll see you on Monday with more entertaining arts and culture segment.
All right.